So today I thought I'd start off a new series that I'm going to be running throughout the life of Battlefield 4, and it's going to be a series of weapon reviews. Now I'm going to call it Setup Sunday. It's not going to be too heavy on the weapon stats because I think that bores the hell out of people. It's more going to be about the situations that I can put the gun in and what I feel it works best at. And so to kick off this new series, today we're going to be using a weapon that is brand new to the Battlefield franchise, and that's called the SAR-21. It's an assault rifle, so it sits alongside the likes of the M416 and the FAMAS, and it simply requires you to achieve 19,000 points with the assault class to unlock this. Now, as I stated previously, this weapon is brand new to the Battlefield franchise, so I didn't really know how this thing was going to perform before I actually got my hands on it. I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised with the SAR-21. I think it's more orientated to be used in slower paced game modes like Conquest and Rush. It doesn't work very well in Domination and Team Deathmatch, and here's why. The SAR-21's rate of fire is 600 rounds per minute. Now this is where it really starts to let itself down in close quarters combat, because of course if somebody's running around with an AEK, they're going to drop you before you've even pushed the ADS button. Adding to that, it's got a really long reload time as well. Because of its bulb-up design, it does take a little bit longer to reload than some of the other more conventional weapons in the game. So in a close quarters situation, if you're having to reload, somebody comes around the corner, you're going to get caught with your pants down. Another thing I will say, when I was using this gun naked, i.e. it had no attachments on it, I found that the iron sights weren't great. I was trying to hit fire people from about 10 or 15 metres away, found that was more effective than using the iron sights. They were just too clunky for me and they took up too much of the screen, so it's pretty much a necessity to have a sight on this thing. I want to now move away from the negatives, because obviously I'm doing the gun review here to make sure that you guys know about the good things of this weapon. So I'm going to move across to Conquest and Rush, because this is where this thing really does start to excel. As I mentioned earlier, the SAR-21's rate of fire really doesn't help itself out in close quarters combat. However, at medium to long range, this gun really does start to become a bit of a beast. As always, when you're shooting at medium to long range, I always advise burst firing the gun. And that of course helps even more because it's got such a low amount of recoil, because its rate of fire is so slow, it's really easy to keep your crosshairs on target. If you can add the right attachments into the equation, this gun can become an absolute legend at long range combat. I find that the angled foregrip is really good because obviously with burst firing, you're getting a lot of first shot recoil every single time you burst it. With the angled foregrip, that reduces that by 33%. If you add the heavy barrel into the equation here, you've essentially got yourself an assault sniper. Of course, the heavy barrel increases your long range accuracy, but it also increases your vertical recoil. I think you can compensate for that quite easily though. And this is why I've said the weapon is so good in Conquest and Rush. The chances of you running into somebody in close quarters battle in a Conquest game is obviously much lower than something like in Domination or Team Deathmatch. The areas of engagement in Conquest and Rush, well, besides Operation Locker pretty much, are much larger than what you'd normally expect to find in a game of Domination. And when you've got a weapon on your side that's got really good long range accuracy and virtually no recoil, if you learn to burst fire it correctly, you really can take people out at quite a range with this weapon. I suppose one of the last things that we can talk about with this weapon is the sight choice that I've gone for. Now, I really do prefer to have these shorter range sights, like a red dot coyote sight that I'm using here, simply because it doesn't mean that my weapon is zooming in my screen all the time, so I lose my peripheral vision. I like to see what's going on all the time, and a red dot sight allows me to do that. In my experience, on any weapon pretty much, I always find that the red dot seems to be more accurate, for me at least, than a higher magnification scope like the ACOG. I think this is because with the red dot sight you've only got one time zoom, which means when you zoom in there's virtually no zoom anyway, so the person that you're aiming at in front of, the bullets are going to hit in the torso, maybe some in the neck, maybe some in the head. You're going to get the kill within 4 or 5 shots. When I've got a sight like the ACOG, you notice the muzzle climb and the recoil much more than you do with a red dot sight, so you start to try and aim further and further up the body, and eventually you'll lose the person that you're trying to aim at. Of course, you want to try and be as efficient as you can with the bullets that you're actually splattering out all across a body. If you've got another enemy that's round the corner, you don't want to be using 8 or 10 bullets to kill somebody if you only need to use 4 or 5. And that's why I find the red dot sight is much better for me, because it doesn't show the recoil as much as an ACOG sight does. And something that I do want to add to this weapon, if you are new to Battlefield, if you aren't as sort of clued in as everybody else who's been playing Battlefield 3 for the last couple of years, I think this weapon is a really good place for you to start. I know that the higher rate of fire weapons will get you kills quicker, but the fact that you've only got a rate of fire of 600 rounds per minute means that you aren't going to go mag dumping all over the place and eventually lose all your bullets. It gives you a chance to hold on to some of those bullets, and with the low recoil as well, it makes it really easy to kill your opponent. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, it does require you to have 19,000 points with the assault class to unlock this weapon. However, if you do need a weapon that's got really good long range accuracy, then this is the one you want to be using. Overall, I'm really impressed with the SAR-21 as it stands currently. It suits my playstyle, it means I can get that accuracy that I need at longer ranges. I think I'm going to have to make a video at some point in the future about the AUG and the SAR-21 because they are so similar in so many respects. They've got a very similar rate of fire, look, bullpup design, reload time, the list goes on. So I will do a video in the future about those two weapons. Just quickly before I end the video, I want this series to be about you guys as much as it is about me. So I'm going to be taking submissions for weapons that you want me to try out. So make sure you leave a comment, guys, as the top rated comment at the end of this video will be taken forward to the next episode. So that just about wraps up the first episode of Setup Sunday here on my channel, guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like, and as I say, comments are always appreciated. I will be taking the top comment for the next episode. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.